Om Amriteshwarya Namaha. A very good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to one and all present here from different parts of the world. I'm Sri Priya, and I'm honored to be anchoring for the inaugural session of the 11th edition of InCTF conference. To kickstart the 3-day conference, we have a grand inaugural session with 3 prominent leaders in the country with us here today. Let us begin with a short prayer invoking the grace of the divine.
वक्रतुण्ड महाकाय सूर्यकोटि समप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा।
ध्यायामो धवलावगुण्ठनवती तेजोमयीं नैष्ठकीं स्निग्धां पाङ्गविलोकिनीं भगवतीं मन्दस्मितश्रीमुखीं वात्सल्यामृतवर्षिणी सुमधुरं सङ्कीर्तनालापिनी श्यामाङ्गी मधुसिक्तसूक्तिम् अमृतानन्दात्मिकाम् ईश्वरी अमृतानन्दात्मिकामीश्वरी अमृतानन्दात्मिका ईश्वरी।
With the auspicious ambience of the prayer, may I begin with a brief introduction about the conference. InCTFCon is an international cybersecurity conference organized on behalf of Amrita Vishwavidyapeetham. Our mission is to educate and promote a culture of online security and cyber safety. Our pre-conference national contest InCTF had a participant strength of over 15,000 from all over India, making it one of the largest events in the country. The big dream behind this conference is to inculcate a new generation of cybersecurity professionals to protect the globe from a cyber pandemic and to safeguard India's future in the digital atmosphere. We hope to empower those wanting to take up the cybersecurity mantle to preserve peace in cyberspace while serving the most vulnerable. Now, I request Dr. Krishnashree Achyutan, Dean of Doctoral Programs and Director of Cyber Security Systems and Network Center at Amrita Vishwavidyapeetham, to deliver the welcome and introduction to Amrita. Welcome, ma'am.
Om Amriteshwarya Namaha. A warm welcome to everyone. We are extremely delighted to have with us India's stalwarts and Honorable Chief Guest, Sri Ajay Prakash Sawhney, Srimati Arundhati Bhattacharya, and Lieutenant General Rajesh Pant with us. Their spectacular contributions to India's socio-economic trajectory and security have been extremely impactful. We are humbled to have them lead this international conference and set the ground to share their thoughts on how the youth should steer cyberspace. A very, very warm welcome to you, sirs and madam. I shall start with a brief introduction to Amrita Vishwavidyapeetham. Amrita Vishwavidyapeetham is a young, multidisciplinary research-intensive institution, about 19 years of age. The founding chancellor of the university is the world-renowned humanitarian leader, Sri Mata Amritanandamayi Devi, also known as Amma. Through Amma's inspiring life of love and service, she has provided solace to over 40 million people and spearheaded numerous institutions and initiatives that are dedicated to promotion of peace, social service to the humanity, and protection of nature. The three core vision of Amrita Vishwavidyapeetham includes education for life and education for living that involves imparting values to create a generation of graduates that are not only well trained in their chosen disciplines of study, but are also explorative and empathetic. Compassion-driven research that helps us focus on solving national and global challenges that plague vulnerable citizens, resulting in creating global impact together with our partner organizations. Today, we have 6+ campuses, 220 programs, 15 schools, 20,000 students in broad areas like engineering, medicine, the sciences, and management. We started our journey in 2003 as a university and very early on worked with various Indian and international organizations and universities to build technologies based on interdisciplinary research oriented towards solving societal problems. This led to the germination of several world's first and India's first innovations at Amrita. We have also been fortunate to contribute towards several state and national missions in diverse areas spanning from education, health, sustainable development, and so on. For these systematic and progressive accomplishments, Amrita is today ranked as the 5th best university as per Government of India's national ranking framework. Similarly, in world rankings, we are humbled to be amongst top private university in this country, a huge feat being a 19-year-old institution. Another testament to the alignment of our mission came in the Times Higher Education 2021 rankings, where we were amongst the top 10 in quality education and gender equality, followed by top 100 in good health and well-being and sanitation, and top 200 in industry innovation and infrastructure in the world. Very recently, we also received the distinction of being Institution of Eminence from the Government of India. Digitization has increased multi-fold during the COVID-19 pandemic. The pandemic has also shown us how interconnected all businesses are, how increased digitization has thrust the global population onto a new trajectory of cyber threats and attacks. Thus, cybersecurity is a cross-cutting area of significant importance to the highly digital world we live in today. This is an area that keeps leaders of most nations awake at night, as the boundaries and impact of the cyber attack are extremely difficult to secure. The Center for Cybersecurity Systems and Networks at Amrita was founded on the vision and mission to work towards building indigenous solutions that is in direct significance to the country and bridge the gap and acute shortage of trained professionals in this niche area through a two-pronged approach of technical and societal contributions. In alignment with Atmanirbhar Bharat, Make in India, Startup India, etc., over 20+ products have been built at the center that cuts across its usage in various verticals. I'm extremely proud to share that Amrita's ethical hacking team is world-renowned, being now ranked number 28 in the world and 7th best amongst all academic teams in the world. This puts India on the world map with countries that are extremely strong in cybersecurity talent, such as Israel, Eastern European countries, Russia, America, etc. This feat would not have been possible without the continued perseverance to achieve excellence and contribute the learnings towards the benefit of the society. One of our substantial contributions have been towards the ongoing shift from cybersecurity to cyber resilience, which is critical to a more trustworthy and sustainable future. We have empowered over 40,000+ professionals from diverse disciplines and students from across 22+ states through numerous outreach activities. Thus, cybersecurity is not a separate technology, but rather a priority of the systems spanning technology, people, and processes in the 4th industrial revolution. With this, I would like to express my gratitude once again to Shri Ajay Kumar Sawhney, Srimati Arundhati Bhattacharya, and Lieutenant General Rajesh Pant for having taken time from their very busy schedule to be with us today. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Krishnashree, for the warm welcome message. We have a very special chief guest of honor with us today, one of the foremost leaders in navigating our technology space and innovation roadmap of our entire country, Shri Ajay Prakash Sawhney, Secretary of Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology. In his initial years of his administrative role as an IAS officer, Sir was instrumental in driving efficiency of diverse portfolios related to land administration, law and order, and quasi-judicial functions, rural development, health and family welfare, communication and information technology, e-governance, and elections in the state of Andhra Pradesh. He played a lead role in the total literacy campaign in the early 90s. He has also catalyzed the establishment of the International Institute of Information Technology in Hyderabad and its emergence as one of the premier institutions in computer science education and research in the country. He has spent more than 10 years in assignments relating to information technology and e-governance and has led the formulation of innovative policies and implementation of several major e-governance, communications, and broadband projects. He has also worked as the Principal Secretary to Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh after the reorganization of the state. He is one of the senior most administrative officers of our country. The aggressive growth and accomplishments of the Ministry of Electronics and IT under his leadership has been phenomenal. We are so excited to have him with us today. I would like to invite Shri Ajay Prakash Sawhney for the inaugural address.
Thank you. A very good morning to Professor Krishnashree Achutam, Srimati Arundhati Bhattacharya, Lieutenant General Rajesh Pant, Professor Raghuraman, and other dignitaries who are present on this occasion, students, other delegates to this program, to this conference. It's a great pleasure for me to be able to participate in this program today. Even though the participation is on virtual mode, I think virtual mode now represents one of the most important ways for all of us to interact with each other. And I hope that soon the COVID will also recede and leave space for all of us to again have physical conferences apart from the virtual ones. But first of all, I would like to begin with congratulating Amrita Vishwa Vidyapeetham for getting adjudged as the winner of the DSCI Cyber Champions Excellence Award 2021 for cybersecurity education. Amrita Vishwa Vidyapeetham has been an amazing partner for the Government of India and for various law enforcement agencies and many of our cybersecurity initiatives. We greatly respect and have tremendous regard for the kind of work that is done by this university, which is located in one part of the country. But the work that is being done there has an impact on across the country, especially across the law enforcement agencies' work, which is done across the country and in the area of cybersecurity. I would also like to thank Amrita Vishwa Vidyapeetham for organizing such a wonderful conference, the InCTF conference, where the theme is towards building capacity and increasing awareness about cybersecurity. With the penetration of internet in our daily life, widespread digitization that we are all witnessing, and the delivery of whether it is government services or services from various businesses moving online as much as they are offline, securing cyberspace is of paramount importance. It's extremely important that we keep cyberspace as a safe, secure, and trusted space for everyone to interact. And that is not an easy proposition. To make cyberspace secure, creating awareness and educating the young population, and not just young population, but everyone in the country about the best practices, about the cyber hygiene, about the vulnerabilities that exist, about the threats that are being encountered constantly. I think it's extremely important, and it's the best way to start the journey. Organizing this conference provides young minds an immense opportunity to showcase their talent in utilizing the opportunities that are coming our way. As much as there are challenges and vulnerabilities and threats, on the other side, these also create a huge set of opportunities for our youngsters, for our innovative minds, for our research teams to push the frontier and to push back against many of the issues that we are encountering. We are all aware that in the post-COVID era, India is emerging as a wonderful destination, whether it is for software services, where we are a global giant, now into manufacturing, with huge amount of manufacturing happening in electronics. In the area of electronics, we have grown at, including the flat year or the plateauing that we saw during the pandemic year, still over the past 6 years, our growth rate has been at 17% compounded annual rate of growth in electronic manufacturing. And over the next 5 years, including this year, we see a potential to grow at more than 25% CAGR over 5 years, which will take us to a huge volume and quantum of manufacturing. We are also seeing the emergence of software as a service, the SaaS products. The software product space is an extremely exciting space for everyone in the world. In India, we have been very happy consumers of software products that have come to us from across the globe, especially from the West. We have been so good at using software products that have come from elsewhere that we actually help everyone in the world to make use of software products. And we help them run their systems. Even during the pandemic, it is to the credit of our fabulous IT service majors that they could not only help us keep everything running within the country, but they also ensured that business continuity is maintained for the Fortune 500 companies across the globe whom they serve. India already has a very special place in the area of IT. Now, with software products also coming in, I think there is a huge opportunity for India to break into a very different segment of technology leadership. Electronic manufacturing was always, the hardware side was always a somewhat weaker area as compared to software in India. We are also plugging that gap. So it's very heartening to see that software services, software products, and electronics are all on a tremendous ascendant, and that this creates opportunities for us to address any kind of a problem using technology. We have also seen the growth of startup ecosystem in the country. Among startups, many of the startups have been becoming unicorns. It's so heartening to see that we now have more than 80 unicorns that have emerged in this country. And more than 40 of them have become unicorn in 2021 alone. This confirms the kind of energy, the kind of innovation, the kind of leadership, the kind of problem solving that our startups are doing again and again and again, sector after sector, problem area after problem area. It's time for us to look at the area of cybersecurity, which represents several problems which are yet to be solved sufficiently. It's very clear when we look at what drives innovation. It's very clear that the best innovation happens when you encounter challenges and problems. Problem solving is the fertile ground. Wherever you have a large number of problems, that represents fertile ground for problem solvers, and problem solving is what brings the best products and services into being. Wherever people have solved a problem, addressed pain points which are being felt by a large number of people, by a large number of business enterprises, and even at the national scale, such entities go on to become world-beating players. They go on to capture a huge market because they are solving a problem, making use of technology. It's time for us, and there is a huge opportunity today to solve the big spectrum of problems that we encounter in cybersecurity, in keeping the internet safe and secure, in keeping our systems trusted, effective, efficient, and in ensuring that they not only have resilience, but they also come across as fair and effective systems which provide very good services to everyone with minimal chances of fraud and the vulnerabilities of cyber space. The government gives tremendous importance to cybersecurity. We are constantly working towards improvement in India's cybersecurity posture. You might be aware that India is now ranked among the top 10 countries in cybersecurity posture for the year 2020, out of 193 countries. It is even more amazing to note that India had jumped from 47th position in the year 2018 to the 10th position in the year 2020. This is a very significant jump for the cyber preparedness of the country. And this ranking is based on 5 parameters: legal measures, technical measures, organizational measures, capacity development measures, and cooperation measures. I sincerely hope that with the support of academia and industry, and also based on the efforts that are constantly being made by the government, we will be able to achieve even higher positions in time to come in the GCI ranking. India also secured the 4th position in Asia Pacific region. And all of this demonstrates the recent strength that we have been trying to build and India's success in dealing with the issues pertaining to cybersecurity. However, at the same time, there has also been an increasing trend in cyber attacks as the number of people that use cyberspace in India increases. And in this, we must be cognizant of the fact that we still have at least about 30 crore more people to cover, and maybe about 60 to 70 crore more people to cover if we want, if we consider wide broadband as the threshold for serious participation in the cyberspace. As reported by CERT-IN, the Computer Emergency Response Team India, the number of cybersecurity incidents that were encountered in India increased from 49,000 odd in 2015 to 11,58,000 in 2020. That is phenomenal increase in the number of cybersecurity incidents. A total of 12,000, more than 12 lakh, so it's 11 lakh 58,000 and now 12 lakh 14,000 were reported up to October of last year for the year 2021. This is a phenomenal increase and requires tremendous measures or at various levels. It also represents the opportunity space for youngsters and for research teams. We have a national policy on software products. This provides tremendous opportunities to people that are engaged in creating new software products. With DSCI, we also run a challenge round for new products in cybersecurity. I would welcome youngsters who are listening to us to participate in these contests and help us create solutions which are purely Indian, products that are purely Indian, and services that are purely Indian in the cyberspace. We have also been active in the area of cybersecurity education and awareness. We have a information security and awareness program, which has the objective of capacity building in the area of information security, training of government personnel, and creation of information security awareness at a mass scale. This is being implemented with the help of 52 academic and training institutions across the country, which conduct a number of formal and non-formal courses. The Ministry of Electronics and IT also runs a Cyber Surakshit Bharat program in a public-private partnership mode, which helps us train and educate the chief information security officers in various ministries, in various state governments, in various private institutions, in banking, PSUs, government organizations, to be able to address the challenges of cybersecurity. This training is rolled out in all the major cities and now is also available online, so that the chief information security officers and their teams across the country can get the benefit of this kind of education and training program. A Cyber Shiksha program was also launched in the year 2018 by DSCI in collaboration with Microsoft for creating skilled and industry-ready women professionals in cybersecurity. This once again is a wonderful program, and it's especially targeting bringing in more and more women professionals in this wonderful area. I do hope that this event will bring out tremendous sharing of experiences, result in new concepts, innovative ideas being shared, and will help all the participants develop a much deeper understanding of what is happening in cyberspace, what are the specific issues for India, India's industry, Indian government, the state governments, the local governments, the local businesses, and what are the efforts that are currently going on in the hands of various stakeholders. What are the opportunities? What are the research challenges? And what are the areas where we need to move with specific effort and attention? We are seeing tremendous flow of angel investment, of VC investment, of private equity in Indian businesses. It's a great opportunity to be young and capable of contributing to this very, very exciting space. Thanks a lot for inviting me to be a part of this wonderful conference. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you, Sri Ajay Prakash ji, for sharing your wisdom. We cannot agree more on your vision for India as India emerging as a wonderful destination with opportunities for startups and innovative solutions for real problems where our young minds can focus on building a solution. And this will also be critical to make India rank #1 in the Global Cybersecurity Index. Statistics you mentioned regarding the rise in cyber threats and vulnerabilities are also alarming and calling out for the need for more cyber warriors in our country. Thank you also for sharing the numerous projects and policies initiated by the government. I hope young minds listening to us today are inspired, listening to your call for urgent action and the tremendous opportunities in the exciting area. Thank you, sir. Now, it's my privilege to introduce you to our guest of honor, Srimati Arundhati Bhattacharya. Arundhati Bhattacharya is the chairperson and chief executive officer for Salesforce India. In her role, Arundhati oversees the growth strategy of the company and plays an integral role in defining Salesforce relationship with the ecosystem of customers, partners, and community across India. Throughout her 40+ years in the financial sector, she has also earned a string of accolades to her name, which include the world's 100 most powerful women by Forbes, top 50 globally most powerful women in business and world's 50 greatest leaders list by Fortune. During her 4 years tenure as the first ever women chair of State Bank of India, she has stamped her imprint on the financial world, not just in India, but globally as well. Her work in the area of human resources, with special focus on the status of women and challenged members of the workforce, has also been of special significance. Personally, for me and for many of the women professionals, you are truly a great role model. Thank you for being an icon of what women can achieve. I kindly invite you, ma'am, to deliver the special address.
Good morning, everybody, especially all the dignitaries over there, the students, the delegates, the faculty, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, a happy new year to all of you. Congratulations to Amrita Vidyapeetham for a great event. And I'm excited to be here today, as this is also my first event for the year. Today, I am here to talk to you about the Indian consumer and the changing role of what we call trust. The COVID-19 pandemic is forcing all of us to reimagine how we live our everyday lives and how we do business. It's transforming society, not least in the way we work and how we view the role of business. It is also testing to what extent companies' values are reflected in their actions. How they behave now will shape the way they and business in general will be viewed after the crisis. Today, we are actually in the midst of several crises all at once. There is a health crisis, an economic crisis, a climate crisis, and a crisis of trust. According to Edelman's 2021 Trust Barometer, trust in government, NGOs, and media organizations, all of this has declined further over the past 12 months, and this is worldwide. But what is trust? Trust is traditionally defined as confidence in or reliance on some quality or attribute of a person or thing, or the truth in a statement. The need for trust could not come at a more crucial time as the world delivers one of the largest mass vaccination campaigns in human history. Leading through change can be daunting, but the journey does provide opportunities to build better businesses and strengthen our values and shared sense of culture along the way. As students, you are the future. Innovation, transformation, and most importantly, the future of India is you. So my message to you would be fourfold. First of all, unlearn, learn, and repeat. There is a huge need today for digital training and reskilling. There is a need to move from what you knew to what you don't know and understand all of them. If I quote my own case, I was a literature student 40 years back. Since then, I went on to lead India's largest banking bank. And today, I'm actually leading IT MNC, which is at the very cutting edge of technology innovation. I have had to learn a lot along the way, but believe me, it's been one of the most rewarding things that has ever happened to me. Like employers, employees, and the future workforce also need to digitize. To build more inclusive and robust economies, digital training and reskilling must be central, especially in supporting the disproportionately affected groups. You as students, therefore, must be willing not only to learn what you are learning now, but to keep up your learning lifelong, because it's the only way that you can survive in this hugely VUCA world where everything is uncertain and everything is subject to change. Rapid and widespread digitization has changed the very nature of our work. Our transition to an all-digital world makes having digital skills essential for any of the jobs to do. Our new digital-first world revolves around everyone having the skills to participate, because if you don't have these skills, you will surely be left out. While the demand for digital skills is high, what about the supply of people with those skills? It's lagging far behind. Businesses need more workers with digital skills. This is their biggest ever challenge to succeed. We at Salesforce are committed to addressing the training and reskilling imperative, equipping customers, communities, and citizens with the tools and the trusted digital advice to take on jobs that the digitally transforming economy demands. The second message that I want to give is that we need to build technology responsibly. Our core values of trust, customer success, innovation, and equality that we have at Salesforce extends to everything we do. At Salesforce, we believe that the ethical use of advanced technology is an increasingly complex issue, and it must be clearly addressed, not only by us, but by our entire industry. We are also entering an era where trust is becoming a competitive advantage. Consumers do care about trust, and they need to know where and how their data is being used. To help ensure that our technology is used for good, we have established an Office of Ethical and Humane Use of Technology. This is not the case in many other companies I know, but this is something that I feel is extremely important and something that we really must press for. For technology to be effective, it must be built responsibly, and it must be trusted. Ethical innovation is a key competitive differentiator in the fourth industrial revolution because it drives shared value, positive transformation and trust across many stakeholder relationships. For instance, as institutions around the world focus on vaccines distribution, it is critical to empower both the public health leaders and the communities with information and data so they can move quickly and effectively. This is how you get to use technology on a daily basis for the good of humanity. With human rights and equality at the forefront, it's critical that technologies are accessible to all. A user's decision to use an application or to adapt a technology should be voluntary and with full understanding of the purpose and the use of the technology. Balancing ethics and innovation is becoming a new core executive skill. Kranzberg's first law of technology says that technology is neither good nor bad, nor is it neutral. Leading technology companies have demonstrated the need to be deliberate about ethics, not least to manage the expectations of your customers, regulators, and employees. The third message that I want to talk about is about transparency and sustainability. Transparency is particularly important in times of high uncertainty. Access to timely, robust, and relevant information is essential for establishing accountability, improving efficiency, and maintaining trust. Today, you will be having a lot of experts talking about cybersecurity. Cybersecurity is all about maintaining trust. Unless and until you're sure that your data is going to be safe, it is not possible for people to participate fully in the digital economy. Technology solutions should only be used to implement transparent processes and frameworks that have been developed and approved. The pandemic has demonstrated the importance of transparency in building trust, and that technology and sustainability go hand in hand. Just as communities have taken the task of responding to COVID-19 into their own hands, for instances to track infection rates, similarly, strong leadership will be needed to navigate climate change. In a recent survey promoted by Salesforce, 90% of Gen Z consumers think that businesses have a duty to address environmental and social issues. The new generations expect brands to care about the planet and be constantly engaged in reducing all activities in the production cycle that have a negative impact. Sustainability should be integrated with the brand and be part of the experience that the brand provides. Lastly, let us use this crisis as an opportunity to rethink. Rethink how we can do business. Rethink what are the values that truly matter. The crisis we face provides institutions and individuals around the world a chance to reassess their values and think about how to become more responsible and sustainable. Every business has an urgent responsibility to act and do more than simply maximize shareholder value. Together, they can rebuild public trust and make the world a better place for all stakeholders. I would like to end with a quote by our founder, Mark Benioff. He says, "The business of business is to make the world a better place." And with that message, to all of you who are the future of India, I thank you again for calling me here. And I leave with the belief that the trust that we need to create is something that is in your hands to do, and that you will do it well. Thank you.
Thank you, Srimati Arundhati ji, for your articulate expression of where the world is going and what we all should be prepared towards. As a young professional myself, I'm going to take into my heart your message to unlearn, learn, and repeat that you have showed with your own life, from a literature student to a financial sector and then moving on to the IT world. Thank you for shining light in the changing role of trust in the midst of the pandemic and the changing Indian consumer market, going through an industrial revolution right now. Thank you also for stressing the role of cybersecurity and how it is closely attached to the role of what we call trust. I believe your words of wisdom will inspire young minds to become leaders of tomorrow who put in their mind the sustainable growth of our environment as the primary focus. Thank you so much, Arundhati ji, for being with us today. We now have as our next guest of honor, Lieutenant General Dr. Rajesh Pant. Lieutenant General Dr. Rajesh Pant is an internationally recognized cybersecurity expert who is presently holding the prestigious appointment of National Cybersecurity Coordinator in the National Security Council Secretariat of India. In this capacity, he is responsible for coordinating all activities across multiple sectors to ensure a secure and resilient cyberspace within the nation. He holds a PhD degree for his research in the field of information security metrics. He is also Master of Technology from IIT Kharagpur, MPhil from Madras University, and Master of Management Studies from Osmania University. Prior to his appointment, he was the head of the Army's cyber training establishment for 3 years. He served in the Army Signal Corps for 41 years, wherein he was awarded 3 times by the President of India for the Distinguished Service of the Highest Order. Subsequent to his retirement, he was chairman of a listed electronics company, peer review member of NAC, and governing council member of IETE India. General Pant brings to the table an interesting mix of military operations, academic excellence, corporate governance, and cybersecurity wisdom. I now kindly invite Lieutenant General Rajesh Pant to deliver the special address.
Namaskar and greetings of the day to all attendees of this India Capture the Flag International Cybersecurity Conference, and my thanks to Amrita University for having me here. At the outset, let me wish all of you a very, very happy and healthy new year, and I hope that this year sees the end of this horrible pandemic that we have witnessed for the last 2 years. While the COVID pandemic may go away this year, one thing I can assure you is that the cyber pandemic will remain. Because unfortunately in cyberspace, there are these 3 hard truths. One, that vulnerabilities will continue to exist as long as we depend on systems that are based on hardware and software. 2, if vulnerabilities exist, then cyber attacks will continue to take place. And 3, the attribution and traceability of these cyber attacks will be as difficult as it is today. So this issue has become further serious because of the DX, or the digital transformation that has taken place, and our dependence on digital services has increased exponentially, and the threat surface of cyber attacks has become very, very vast now. A few days back, the World Economic Forum has released its 2022 Global Risk Report. And let me share a few takeaways from this report which pertain to cybersecurity. Now, the report says that digital inequality and cybersecurity failures are critical short and medium-term threats to the world. It also states that the current state of risk mitigation is not successful against cross-border cyber attacks and the misinformation and disinformation campaigns that are going on. And the aspect of cross-border cyber attacks is being witnessed by us as we speak in the Eastern European states. The report also says that the ransomware attacks have gone up by more than 400%. And ransomware as a service, which most of you are aware of, is available in the dark web these days. So now even non-technical criminals can take advantage of ransomware as a service and increase the number of attacks that are taking place globally. Now, in this background, let us see what are some of the trends that we expect will continue in the future as far as the cyber attacks are concerned and the threats are concerned. And let me start with the cloud threats, where malicious actors will continue to compromise software as a service applications and services via unsecured secrets, unrotated access keys, unsecure container images obtained from untrusted sources, and poorly implemented identity access control management policies. Then, as I mentioned, the ransomware threats, we foresee two major trends. Firstly, the ransomware attacks will become more targeted and highly prominent, making it harder for enterprises to defend their networks and systems against these attacks. Secondly, ransomware operators will also use more modern and sophisticated methods of extortion that will resemble nation-state APT attacks. The next threat I feel is vulnerability mapping, and 2022 promises to rival the all-time high of zero-day exploits that has helped shape the threat landscape of last year. This increase in trend is due to a variety of factors such as growing media interest in covering headline-making exploits, vulnerability hunters keen on bagging lucrative bug bounties, and implementation mistakes and oversights that will arise as more companies undergo digital transformations. As far as commodity malware attacks are concerned, off-the-shelf malware types such as your remote access trojans, information stealers, cryptocurrency miners, droppers, and malware loaders will continue circulating in cybercriminal circles. Let us not forget the IoT threats, because smart devices have long been tempting targets because the limited computational capacity of most IoT devices leaves little room for built-in security. Cybercriminals will soon be joining the gold rush as more car makers, including big-name players like General Motors, Honda, and Toyota, cash in on the data traffic delivered by connected cars. This data has exploitation in advertising and supply chains, etc. Talking of supply chain, these attackers will take advantage of a lack of monitoring within an organization's environment, and they can be used to perform any type of cyber attack such as data breaches and malware infections. Let us also not forget the mobile devices, which are getting more and more popular, and the mobile malware attacks increase as more people will start using the mobile wallets and payment platforms. Targeting of mobile devices using malware like Pegasus will continue into 2022 and beyond. The new technologies of machine learning and artificial intelligence have already started to revolutionize cybersecurity, and their impact is only going to grow this year. These tools are making it possible for organizations to detect and respond to threats much more quickly and effectively than ever before. The cyber insurance industry will also be very active this year, and the attacks using shell system that was compromised. This is a very dangerous trend. Finally, is the threat of cyber attacks on cyber physical system, employing the operational technology, or OT as it is called, the SCADA and the PLCs, etc. Now, OT systems are generally legacy systems, 10 to 20-year-old systems, decentralized. It's not that you can control one factory from one common location. So last year, in fact, the statistics are that ransomware targeted the health sector the most, but the second sector was the manufacturing sector because of its impact on the OT sector. So the aspect of OT is also very important, and this is also an area where the strategic systems come in. So one will have to be extra careful in the protection of such type of systems. As far as the government is concerned, we have created the National Security Directive on the telecom sector for addressing the supply chain issues in the telecom sector. We have also addressed the power sector and created the cybersecurity incident response team and all their verticals of generation, transmission, distribution, and grid operations, and also trained all their CISOs, etc. And we've also now commenced the FinCert or the FinCSIRT for the finance sector, besides what was happening earlier. So the critical sector is being addressed by us very seriously. We have recently formulated our national cyber reference architecture for both as well as the OT system, and this broadly is based on the international standards which talk of identify, protect, detect, respond, and recover cycle. So government is taking the cybersecurity very seriously, and with this backdrop, I would definitely like to compliment Amrita Vishwa Vidyapeetham for doing an excellent job in engineering, science, technology, education, and research since its inception 19 years ago. There is no doubt that we have to create a large pool of personnel, both as train the trainers as well as trainees in cybersecurity. And I have been following Amrita, and it is doing an excellent job in this direction. That is why probably it has been ranked as the 5th best university in India as per the NRF rankings. Finally, the India CTF conference is yet another feather in the cap of Amrita, as it has grown since 2010 and now attracts over 5,000 participants worldwide. And it is really heartening to see that 75% of the audience are students from Indian universities. The CTF has definitely served as an effective platform to excite, nurture, and showcase cybersecurity talent in the country. I hope we have a good competition in the CTF, and the flag is very important. As you all know, you see behind me 2 of them, and I'm looking forward to see as to who captures the cyber flag in the CTF. Let me thank the organizers for inviting me here and giving me this honor, and I wish all the attendees and participants the very best and the event all success. Thank you very much. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Lieutenant General Shri Rajesh Pant. Thank you for your ever-inspiring words and sharing your insights regarding the various cyber threats and the need for more cybersecurity experts to deal with the increased amount of cyber threats. You also shined light of increase in the trend of ransomware attacks and new 0 days luring in the internet, not just only in the software industry, but also in the hardware, IoT, and even OT, and also the mobile world. I hope our listeners are inspired by your words of wisdom and the information that you shared. Thank you, sir. This brings us to the end of our inaugural ceremony. I would now like to invite Dr. Krishnashree Achyutan, Dean of Doctoral Programs and Director of Cybersecurity Systems and Network Centers at Amrita Vishwa Vidyapeetham, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Thank you, Shri Priya. Once again, Om Namah Shivaya, and good morning and pranams to all of you. I feel honored and privileged to get the opportunity to propose this vote of thanks on this important occasion. On behalf of the organizing committee, I convey my deep regards to our most distinguished speakers who grace the event with their presence in spite of their busy schedules. Shri Ajay Kumar Sawhney, Secretary to the Government of India, Srimati Arundhati Bhattacharya, CEO of Salesforce, and Lieutenant General Dr. Rajesh Pant, National Cybersecurity Coordinator. Our humble pranams and thank you very much. I would like to thank all the participants who blessed us with their presence, to our event sponsors, Salesforce, Soho, CrowdStrike, and several others. We are very humbled by your generosity to support discussions on an important topic of national and international importance, such as cybersecurity. I'm very much thankful to the entire conference committee members, especially Professor Vipin Pavitran, who has been the heart and soul for putting together this world-class event. My special thanks to Shri Satyanand Mishraji, former Chief Information Commissioner, Government of India, and now the Executive Director of the new Amrita campus at NCR Faridabad, for his constant guidance to shape the conference with the most accomplished and distinguished leaders. Finally, would like to end this morning session by sharing from a speech of our beloved Chancellor Amma at the Interfaith Summit at Abu Dhabi on the topic of cyber safety of children, which I believe is very relevant to what we are discussing today. Amma said, even though the United Nations, governments, and social welfare organizations are all working towards cyber safety of children, yet we are seeing only little improvements. Why? Amma continued, knowingly or unknowingly, a key factor is being overlooked: spiritual values. Spiritual values are needed to develop a culture of the heart in our children. With those words, once again, a very warm welcome to the 11th edition of the International Cybersecurity Conference at Amrita. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. This brings us to the conclusion of the inaugural session. I once again thank all the guests and organizers for putting this together, this very packed, exciting 3 days of conference. I wanted to share the fact that this InCTFCon is a culmination of several months of trainings and contests. Over the years, InCTFCon has created a unique, ever-growing community with people from academia and the industry ready to empower young people for years to come. We will start our next session soon with a keynote address from Sri Atanu Chakrabarti, Chairman of HDFC Bank. I kindly request everyone to stay tuned, and we see you soon.